Eskom is the main electricity supplier in South Africa. It is a state-owned enterprise that has been at the heart of the country's energy sector for decades. It provides power to homes, ensuring that families can cook, heat their homes, and enjoy modern conveniences. Businesses from small shops to large factories rely on Eskom for their daily operations. Industries across the country depend on a stable power supply to function efficiently. When Eskom struggles, the entire nation feels the impact. Power outages, known locally as loadshedding, have become a common occurrence. This is because electricity is essential for almost everything we do. From charging our phones to running businesses, electricity is the backbone of modern life. Without it, our lives are disrupted and our economy suffers. Traffic lights stop working, shops close, and productivity grinds to a halt. For many years, Eskom has been plagued by problems. These issues are not new, but they have become more severe over time. Load shedding, where the power is switched off for hours at a time, has become a way of life. Families have had to adapt to living without electricity for extended periods. This has had a devastating effect on the country. The economy has taken a hit and the social fabric of communities has been strained. Businesses have had to close, jobs have been lost, and the overall economic growth has been stunted. People's lives have been turned upside down. The uncertainty of not knowing when the next power cut will happen adds to the stress and frustration. The root cause of Eskom's woes is a toxic mix of corruption, which has siphoned off funds meant for maintenance and upgrades, mismanagement, where poor decisions have led to inefficiencies, and neglect, which has left the infrastructure in a state of disrepair. This has led to a severe financial crisis, with Eskom struggling to stay afloat financially. An aging and unreliable infrastructure, which frequently breaks down, exacerbates the problem. And a lack of capacity to meet the country's growing energy needs means that the situation is unlikely to improve without significant intervention. The situation is dire, but there is still hope. Many believe that with the right changes, Eskom can turn things around. With strong leadership, decisive action, and a commitment to rooting out corruption, Eskom can be saved. It will require a concerted effort from all stakeholders. The future of South Africa depends on it. A stable and reliable power supply is crucial for the nation's development and prosperity. Corruption is like a disease that has infected Eskom from the inside out. It has weakened the organization and brought it to its knees. For years, corrupt individuals and syndicates have been stealing billions of rands from Eskom, enriching themselves at the expense of the nation. This has had a devastating impact on Eskom's ability to provide a reliable electricity supply. One of the main ways corruption has flourished is through dodgy procurement deals. This is where companies, often with close ties to Eskom officials, are awarded contracts at inflated prices. The difference is then pocketed by the corrupt individuals involved. This has resulted in Eskom paying far too much for everything from coal to spare parts. Another major problem is collusion between Eskom staff and criminal syndicates. This has led to the theft of massive amounts of coal, fuel, and even copper cables. In some cases, Eskom employees have deliberately sabotaged power stations to create artificial shortages, which then allows their criminal partners to profit from selling overpriced goods and services. The financial cost of corruption at Eskom is staggering. Over the years, the mismanagement and fraudulent activities have drained the utility's resources. Billions of rands that should have been spent on maintaining power stations, ensuring they run efficiently and reliably, building new ones and keeping the lights on, have been siphoned off into private pockets. This blatant misuse of funds has not only affected Eskom, but has had a ripple effect on the entire nation. This has left Eskom with a massive debt burden and a chronic shortage of cash. The utility is struggling to stay afloat, and the financial strain is evident in every aspect of its operations. In 2023/2024 alone, Eskom reported a loss of 25.5 billion rand. This staggering figure highlights the depth of the crisis. This is a slight improvement from the previous year, but still a massive amount of money. The marginal improvement does little to alleviate the overall financial distress. To make matters worse, municipalities across the country owe Eskom a staggering 74.4 billion rand in unpaid electricity bills. This debt is a significant burden on the utility. This debt is crippling Eskom and making it impossible for the utility to invest in the much-needed maintenance and upgrades of its infrastructure. The aging and failing infrastructure is a direct result of this financial strain. The most visible consequence of Eskom's woes is, of course, load shedding. This has become a daily reality for millions of South Africans. This has become a daily occurrence for most South Africans, with some areas experiencing power cuts for up to 12 hours a day. The frequent power outages disrupt daily life and create a sense of uncertainty. In 2023/2024, there were a record 329 days of load shedding, a stark reminder of the ongoing crisis, crippling businesses, disrupting lives, and costing the economy billions of rands. The economic impact is profound, affecting everything from small businesses to large industries. Eskom's problems are not just about corruption and financial mismanagement. The issues run much deeper and are far more complex than they appear on the surface. The utility is also grappling with an aging and unreliable infrastructure. This infrastructure is the lifeblood of the nation's power supply, yet it is crumbling under the weight of years of neglect. Many of Eskom's power stations are old and inefficient. These facilities, once the pride of the nation, are now relics of a bygone era. They were built in the 1970s and 1980s and were not designed to last this long. The technology used back then is now outdated and unable to keep up with modern demands. Years of neglect and poor maintenance have taken their toll. The lack of investment in new technology and infrastructure has only exacerbated the problem. Breakdowns are frequent and repairs are costly and time-consuming. Each breakdown not only disrupts power supply but also drains financial resources. The situation is particularly dire at Eskom's coal-fired power stations. These plants are the most problematic, yet they are crucial for the country's energy needs. These aging behemoths are the backbone of South Africa's electricity grid, but they are also the biggest polluters. Their environmental impact is a growing concern, but they are also the biggest polluters. The emissions from these plants contribute significantly to air pollution and climate change. They are prone to breakdowns, and their performance is often far below what is required. This inconsistency in performance makes it difficult to rely on them for a stable power supply. This puts immense pressure on the rest of the grid and increases the likelihood of load shedding. Load shedding has become a common occurrence, disrupting daily life and economic activities. To make matters worse, Eskom is facing unrealistic expectations from the government and the public. Everyone wants a quick fix, but the reality is that the problems are deeply rooted and complex. The demand for electricity continues to grow, putting even more strain on an already overburdened system. Urbanization and industrial growth are driving this increased demand, but Eskom simply doesn't have the capacity to meet it. The gap between supply and demand is widening, creating a precarious situation. This is a recipe for disaster, and unless urgent action is taken, the situation is only going to get worse. The need for a comprehensive and sustainable solution has never been more critical, and unless urgent action is taken, the situation is only going to get worse. The future of South Africa's power supply hangs in the balance. As we delve deeper into the complexities of Eskom's challenges, it's essential to recognize the efforts being made to address these issues. The government has laid out several plans aimed at restructuring and revitalizing the energy sector, but, the debate rages on. Are these plans enough to bring about real change? Or, are they just another set of promises destined to fall short? The stakes are incredibly high, and the outcomes will significantly impact not just Eskom, but the entire nation. Stay with us as we explore these critical questions. Eskom's financial woes have led to significant tariff hikes. These increases have placed a heavy burden on consumers, many of whom are already struggling to make ends meet. The question remains, how much more can the public endure? Eskom has unveiled a recovery roadmap aiming to stabilize its operations and finances. This plan includes measures to improve efficiency, reduce debt, and ensure a reliable power supply. However, skeptics wonder if these steps will be enough to turn the tide. Eskom's troubles have not gone unnoticed on the international stage. The utility faces scrutiny from global watchdogs and has been embroiled in numerous legal battles. These challenges add another layer of complexity to an already dire situation. Despite the challenges, there are signs that Eskom may be on the path to recovery. New leadership, strategic partnerships, and a renewed focus on sustainable energy offer a glimmer of hope. The journey ahead is long, but there is cautious optimism that Eskom can indeed see the light.